to develop serious feelings, and I do have concerns that I'm going to let you down. I'm 34 and single, so, you know, I've let people down before.
You're married.
You're married.
There's nothing more humiliating than fighting for a man and then have that man turn around and say he's not as attracted to you as you are attracted to him. That's nothing more embarrassing than that. Nothing more embarrassing. And to have the people that you were dragging and calling names and all be sitting there as your husband humiliates you is a life lesson for Tori, something she needs to take forth into her life and work on and make sure she doesn't make a fool of herself again. I'm so surprised, and I love the progress that the couples are making. I loved Tristan and Cassandra. I loved Timothy and Lucinda. That was amazing. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, season 11, episode 27. I would like to say I saw it coming, but actually, if I were to take a guess of who would not be attracted to their partner between Michael and Stephen, I would have said Michael. So the idea that Stephen is saying he's not attracted to Michael because Michael has more of a feminine vibe is shocking to me. It really is. And it's come out of left field, unless the producers have suddenly put something into his head that's made him feel this way, because all along he's been saying he's attracted to Michael. So the idea that suddenly he's not attracted to Michael because Michael is very feminine doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. And I'm still struggling, because at least if he had said so on day one, because Michael has continued to be himself, he hasn't changed anything. If he had changed something, then we'd say maybe, but he hasn't changed anything. So I don't understand how Stephen has suddenly got the ick because Michael, he feels, has more feminine tendencies. I don't get it. You have Jaden and Eden. Jaden and Eden, I think, are too much on cloud nine. Just because things are going well for them doesn't mean they need to nitpick at anybody else. In my opinion, I think Jaden, Eden, you have Tori and Jack must have had a little meeting, a little summit on the side and said, we're going to bring down Timothy. And so their goal was always to unite and to bring down Timothy. And I think they felt that everybody else would have disdain for Timothy and they would sort of unite with them. And so for them to go in fighting for Lucinda, who hasn't asked for them to fight for her, the person they should have been fighting for is Ellie. And so it's surprising that they decided not to ignore Ellie and decided to sort of fight for Lucinda. It doesn't make sense unless Tori is feeling some type of way because of the fact that she and Timothy had a go at one another, and then he sort of took a step back and kept quiet. Even last week when there was all the muffle your woman and stuff comment, he kept quiet, and I think they wanted to deflect the attention from Jack onto Timothy and make him be the fall guy for whatever Jack did. And so the fact that he didn't bite and the fact that the other couples didn't sort of participate in this We Hate Timothy campaign, I feel is why, Jaden has got his knickers in a bunch, because it's not that big of a deal. Lucinda is a grown woman. Timothy is a grown woman. They're in their 40s. They know what they're doing. He needs to mind his own business and focus on his relationship with his wife. As far as I'm concerned, I think he's Jack's minion. Jack is the one who sent him in to sort of ruffle feathers and sort of deflect attention. And this is what Jaden has taken on. I don't know how Jack can get away with manipulating these people and they sort of just continue to comply. It's cute to see Lucinda and Timothy having a conversation. You can see from the smile on his face is beaming. He's so excited that Lucinda stood beside him. Yes, when she needed to correct him, she corrected him, but in an empathetic way, in a way that he would be able to understand. And I think this is through communication with her dad. Her dad was able to give her skills and tools in which to sort of work with this man in a way he understands. And so to hear him say, I have nothing but praise for Lucinda, she is a solid girl, is amazing, because I hope he's recognizing that he is one of the luckiest people in the experiment. He is one of the people that got someone who really wanted this to work, and he's got someone who's attracted to him. Others are crying for their partner to be attracted to them. And the fact that she stood beside him and didn't waver when people were trying to tear him down was amazing. So I'm so happy for them, and I really like that. You have Tori and Jack having this conversation about, oh, don't deviate from our plan. Okay, don't don't surprise me. I don't want any surprises. And Jack is sort of being mysterious. Oh, I have a feeling something is going to happen. She's already told me what she wants, what she sees in a relationship, what she's after in a marriage. And so if I suddenly deviate from that, then it would be a shocker for her. More or less, I feel like he's going to pull out the rug out of her, under her. I feel like he's going to pull the rug from under her at the very end, at the very final commitment ceremony. I feel like he's going to play along until they get there, and then he's just going to drop, the ball and say, I'm out. Because he says, I feel a sense of responsibility. For what? Responsibility for what? If it's either you like this girl or you don't. If you don't, let her know. Don't waste time deflecting and sort of attacking other people when your house is not clean. First up is Ben and Ellie. Obviously, Ellie wants to speak her truth because she feels that Ben wasted her time and he really didn't have any feelings towards her. He played her along, and then when he was ready, he sort of just left her. And so I would empathize with Ellie if she didn't have the affair or if she wasn't dating Jono. Because the audacity for Jono to speak up for Ellie, and yet he didn't speak up for the woman he's married to, not once but twice, doesn't make sense to me. I feel like they were already seeing one another with Jono, and this is why she suddenly found her voice, because nothing else makes sense. Ben has been who he's been from the start, so the idea that she suddenly found her voice and needed to speak up and sort of call him out for wasting her time, I don't get it. When she wrote leave and he decided to check out, she should have checked out as well. But she chose to stay irregardless of what he was saying or doing. I feel she was just there so that she could spend more time with Jono, and then when it was time, she and Jono would leave. That's the impression that I get, because I don't get how Jono would find a voice to speak up for her and not find a voice to speak up for his wife. Ben should never have entered the experiment. I think he was thrown off. I think he came in with the expectation of playing a dutiful husband, and then when her cousin sort of called him out, that threw him off and left him in a place whereby he didn't know what to do but just take a step back and not do anything, because he didn't want to be a bad guy, because he knew that if he played her along and then suddenly turned off, then people might not like him at all. And I think he was there to promote his podcast and there to get followers and be a bigger star than he is at the moment. They both chose to leave. Surprising? No. Jaden and Eden, I'm going to need someone to tell us what the show is paying, or what the show required of the brother in order for Jaden to appear on the show. Because the fact that Eden had to talk about the brother who was on the show before, and the fact that he asked her, how do you feel about my brother, score it out of 10, why did she need to bring his name up? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes it seem, this is what Timothy was talking about when he was saying that Jaden sees himself as part of the Mavs royal family because of his brother having been on the show, because otherwise there's no rationale for why the brother's name was brought up. Am I surprised they both wrote stay? No, we all know they really like each other. It's just a matter of time. It seems the experts have decided to work with the happy couples. Well, they started off with Ben because they wanted to tear him a new one. And then once they finished, they went on to Kaz and Tristan. Kaz and Tristan seem to be in a really good place. They spoke about the fact that they met each other's parents and they had a great time. We all know Kaz's dad really likes Tristan, and Tristan really likes Kaz's dad. And I think the information he gave them was very helpful because they had back-to-back information. I've said this before, that I think they would really benefit from couples counseling once they leave the show if they're going to stay together, and it seems they're working. Tristan was able to give her a kiss in front of everyone. He's trying his best, and I hope he sees that he's matched with an amazing girl and he really puts in the effort. They both chose stay. Am I surprised? No. Next up is Jaden and Ridge. Why is it these people grow on me? Never would I have thought I would champion Ridge like this, because he's shown a level of maturity I didn't expect from him when he was busy saying D's. So the idea that he's gone from Mr. D's to suddenly being loving, caring, understanding, empathetic, and compassionate with his partner is amazing, and willing to speak positively about her was a revelation. Even the other couples, you could tell they were surprised. And I love the fact that Lucinda acknowledged that they have an amazing chemistry. You can tell that they really like each other, and I really have hope for them. I always root for love, as I say, so I'm hoping that this really turns out to be what they both needed. They both wrote stay. Am I surprised? No, they were both going to write stay because things have been going smoothly for them thus far. Richard and Andy, I really like them as a couple. I liked the maturity that they had. I liked the fact that they made each other giddy at the start and they were like little children. They were so excited. So, yes, Richard made the first mistake. He shouldn't have spoken about their sex life. That we can all agree. And then I think he's struggled to find a way to win her back. And she's also struggled. I think all the time she's been talking to her family, maybe she's been trying to sort of get over the betrayal from him, sort of exposing such a personal and intimate information to the rest of the group in a sort of joking, insensitive way. And I give them credit because they did speak about it. He aired his grievance with the fact that she was locking herself in the room and speaking for hours. And I think it's always delicate because she needs to confide in someone outside of the experiment, and maybe she was trying to avoid the cameras and so was venting to her family. That way when she saw him she wouldn't be as angry. But I give them credit because they both aired out their differences. They both are willing to do the work, so they've both chosen to stay, and hopefully things can only go up from here. Next up is Lucinda and Timothy. And for me, I don't get it. I don't get why that core four are rubbed the wrong way by Timothy. Timothy has been minding his business. His issues have been with his wife. He tried to warn Tori. Tori used that as sort of, instead of listening to him, she retaliated and became very angry. And she's decided to form a union to go on the rise and attack Timothy. So for Jaden to say, oh, we don't know anything. These are two grown people. You don't need to know this every single business. I think they are always confiding in one another, and because they confide in one another, this is what they use to blackmail each other or to try and get each other to keep in line. Hence the Jonah situation with Jack. And I like the fact that Lucinda is like, I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. Leave me alone. Things are working for me. Don't come in and try and destroy my house just because you have some vendetta against my husband. And so Timothy really loved this. He was excited. You could see even from their body language, they were sort of leaning towards one another, even though they were not hugging. And the fact that they're both happy to stay, Timothy's confidence has grown. And I give him credit for not doing a Sarah whereby one day he's very angry and then the next day everything is happy-go-lucky. So the fact that he was honest to say, yes, I have my walls up, but they are going up and down, up and down, up and down with the things that Lucinda does for me. And he acknowledged and gave praise to Lucinda, which is more than any of these guys have done about their ladies. So I wish they could keep quiet. Next up is Michael and Stephen. Obviously, they have this conversation, and Stephen is able to vocalize that he's not physically attracted to Michael because Michael is more feminine than the people he's dated, and he doesn't know whether the connection is going to grow. And I was sitting here patiently waiting for Jaden and his posse to say something, but you had Tori snacking and sort of making faces, and it's like, ma'am, you need to fix your face, because you are next up on the couch and your man doesn't like you. The rest of the world knows he doesn't like you. It's just you that is yet to find out. So please keep quiet. I don't get what Stephen is saying. I think maybe Stephen is trying to gain control, given the fact that, he's come into the experiment. He's had this bubble burst because he's found out that he was actually a second place to somebody else. And so I think he's trying to look for control, and this is how he's going to gain control, by saying he's not attracted to Michael and get Michael to sort of wait on him to make a decision of whether or not he wants to be with him. He did say, yes, the chips lie in my hands and it's up to me what happens next. And it's like, this is a partnership. So please remember that. Don't think you hold all the cards, because Michael might turn around when you decide you're ready to go along with him and tell you that he's done. With Jono and Lauren, I don't know. I understand where Lauren is coming from. I would have a lot of questions in regards. I think the first thing she should have asked is, where did he get the voice from to speak up for Ellie, but he couldn't speak up for me, his wife? What does that mean? Does that mean he cares more for Ellie than he does for me? It doesn't make sense for me. I feel like he stayed in the experiment because he wanted to continue to see Ellie. And for as long as Ellie was going to be on the show, he was willing to stay. And so for them to say, we don't have any banter, we don't talk, she's the funniest person I know, but I don't get to see that. And it's like, so the two of you just jumped into bed and that was it. Everything else didn't matter. And this is maybe an example that don't focus on sex when it comes to a relationship on Marriage at First Sight. Maybe get to know the person before you take your pants off. They both chose to stay. Am I surprised? No. Everybody wants to be on TV, so It's not surprising that they chose to say yes to their decision to recommit. Whoever worked with Sarah needs to work with Jack, because her transformation is amazing. It's a sight to see. The fact that she's gone from being very combative, she's gone from arguing with her husband, not wanting to spend any time with her husband, to being vulnerable and talking about, oh, I'm a strong personality, oh, I want someone, you know, who matches my energy, but I am happy with Timothy. And it's like, make it make sense. What has Tim done that has made you change your mind? Who has spoken to you? Because we haven't seen that. I feel like she decided to have this epiphany and change her ways because she realized she was going to be portrayed in a negative light. So that you do get the negative edits from time to time when she speaks up at the dinner table or when she speaks up around other couples. But she's really working hard to try and reinvent herself and sort of change her narrative. That's the impression that I get. But anyway, they both chose to stay. Am I surprised? No. Last up is Jack and Tori. Jack and Tori, for me, we all know how I feel. I hate the way Tori behaved towards Timothy and Cassandra last week, even Lucinda. It was uncalled for. It wasn't necessary. They didn't do anything to provoke her that would warrant her reaction and the comments that she made about them being at the bottom of the food chain. And so for her to sit there and have the man that she's been backing and supporting and has been championing, for him to say that, he more or less said he's not attracted to her. He said she feels him more than he feels her. And it's humiliating because this is what Timothy was trying to tell her. Timothy tried to warn her and she turned him into an enemy instead of turning him into an ally. She would have learned more from Timothy had she continued to side with him and sort of listened to what he was saying about her husband and sort of investigated further. But she thought he didn't have her best interest at heart and decided to believe people that she thought were more her allies. And now to have him say that, everybody's face is dropped because she tried to justify, you know, his comments about muzzle your woman, to compare it to what Timothy did. And then when she kept being probed and probed, Jack, this is when you know he doesn't like her because he didn't support her. He didn't say anything. He just sat there and let her go have a back and forth with the experts. And so when she made a comment about his comment being similar to that made by, you know, Jack, everybody's faces dropped. You could see people rolling their eyes because they couldn't believe the audacity that she had to say that. And so for Jack to then say he's not as attracted to her as she is to him, it was interesting for her to say, oh, if you're not interested in me, then run, don't waste my time. Otherwise, and it's like, it's too late, love. You've made a fool of yourself by, you know, being branded by this man, by following this man when he wasn't really attracted to you. All these guys that are your friends that are chasing Timothy should have told you the truth about your own husband before the two of you decided to form, or before the group decided to form a coalition to go against Timothy. Now look how embarrassed and humiliated you are. He is there to be famous. He's there to be on TV, and that's all he's there for. He doesn't like you. I don't think he's ever been sexually attracted to you. He's kissed you because he has to, you know, give a performance in order to stay on the show. But that's as far as it goes, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I digress. Am I surprised that they both wrote stay? No. They both want to be stars. So they're going to do whatever it takes to stay on the show. And I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised that Jaden didn't say anything to his friend. He didn't question him that, what do you mean you're not attracted to your wife? Because they've been on that experiment the same amount of time. So if he had smoke for Timothy, saying Timothy's wasting Lucinda's time, why didn't he have smoke for his friend? But anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 20. Bye guys.